Hey, Deep Volunteers. I really should have posted this last week and time just got away with me. I really actually, in my optimist mind, I was really hoping that I would be able to have a dinner with you guys and have a separate training with just the Deep Volunteers, but August disappeared, and before I knew it, September was here. So I didn't get it on the calendar, and I'm sorry. So I would love to, in the next couple of months, get something on the calendar for you guys. Maybe in December we could have dinner all together, just to show you guys my appreciation for you and your time and your dedication to these kiddos. I could not do this without you. So I wanted to just tell you a couple of things really quickly so you know what to expect for Deep on Wednesdays. First off, I would love it if you could get there at 6:15. Your kiddos obviously can come. We'll do their screening and they'll just go on into the big room. But I would love to be able to pray at 6:15. If you have children in childcare, that's going to open as early as 6 or a little after. And so then you can come over and we'll pray and commit our time at Deep to the Lord. I've actually wanted to do this for a while. And if you are a part of children's ministry for preschool or elementary on Sundays, you probably saw a training video where I mentioned this for them, but it's the same thing. I just want to dedicate this time to the Lord. It's easy to come and show up and do this in our might, but I really want to invite the Holy Spirit to lead us as we do Deep on Wednesday night. So 6:15, meet in the lobby. We're going to pray for a few moments, and then screening starts and doors open at 6:20. And so what that looks like is we're going to wear our masks as we greet kiddos, and there's going to be a table right outside the double doors into the children's area. And we're going to take their temperature on their wrist or inside their elbow, not on their head, because we'd have to lean way over the table. So on their wrist or in our elbow. And we'll take their temperature, and there's 3 screening questions. One of them is their temperature. And then one of them is, do you have a sudden onset of any of these symptoms like coughing, fatigue, muscle soreness, things like that? And then the other question is there anybody in your family who has recently been, or that you're close to, who's recently been diagnosed, or you're waiting on a test? So if you don't already know this, if you're waiting for a COVID test result to be back, you're supposed to quarantine yourself. And so we're going to ask those 3 questions, and then they'll just come inside. They don't have to write anything down. They'll just come on in, and they'll go into the big room. So that's at 6:20. And we're going to try to start as close to 6:30 as possible, but I'm guessing it's going to be more like 6:35, 6:40 as people come in, because I just really don't know how long the screening is going to take. I'm hoping we can do it quickly. So Jacob and I will plan to be in the big room, and I can use at least 3 people, maybe more, to be outside doing the screening stuff as people come in, as kids come in. And we're going to try to get them to wash their hands and before they go in the big room. Now, you'll notice as soon as you see the big room, the chairs are really spaced apart. We have them in staggered rows, 6 feet apart. So there's about 40 chairs in there, and that takes up, before the chairs only took up about a third of the room. And right now, or maybe not even half really. But right now they're taking up a big portion of the room. And so we won't be able to play like kickball or baseball. Jacob used to play that with the kiddos. So we'll kind of be limited on what games they can play ahead of time. I'll have some table activities, and we'll have basketball and like hula hoops and things like that. But we'll just have to be limited. I do not want the kids to run around. So it'll be really tempting to like weave in and out of those chairs and run around. We don't need to play chase while we're there. And so I'll set that expectation for kiddos. I could really use your help. They do not need to run around those chairs. So what our schedule is going to look like on Wednesdays, we're going to have a couple of songs at the beginning part. And also in the beginning part, for the first few weeks, I'm going to invite a grade of kids to come up there. So 5th, 4th, 3rd, all the 2nd, 1st, kindergarten. Everybody's going to get a chance to come up on stage with their grade and tell their name and introduce themselves and say something about themselves. That'll be the first few weeks. And then after our introduction part of the time, worship, and then what we'll do is we'll have games and crafts split. So kindergarten, 1st and 2nd, will stay in there and play games first, while the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, boys and girls, split into another group. So we'll have games in the big room with littles, and then the bigger kids split into boys and girls, and they're going to do their craft time. And then after 10 minutes, they'll switch. So we'll have third, fourth, fifth playing games in the big room, and kindergarten, first and second grade boys and girls split up and doing their crafts in classrooms. So then for the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes, we'll have our lesson time. So our first week, we're going to have our kickoff night. That's the 9th. We're going to have, I'm going to teach a lesson about what's in the swag bags and tell them why I put that stuff in there and talk about it. And then as they leave, they'll get their swag bags. I don't want them to get them at the very beginning because they'll just tear into them and make a big mess, but they'll get it as they exit. And so we have some verses. We'll have like a little Bible drill for some of the older kids to participate in and read the verses and teach about that on the first week. And then next week, for our first night of having a Bible lesson, we're actually starting the Gospel Project, which is a chronological look at the Bible from beginning to end. And we see what it does is it shows how Jesus as our Redeemer he was in the plan from the beginning. So we see the redemption story even in creation. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want you guys to know. We'll still try to put up the chairs at the very end, and I have sanitizing spray. So the last group who leaves will just spray some of that sanitizing spray, and you just leave it. You just spray it on and just leave it in the classroom. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need you guys to know. So if you think of any questions, masks, we're asking for kids to wear masks, but they are not required to wear them if they are under 10. We'll talk about that some during our deep video tomorrow night, or our deep lesson. And I'm trying to think what else. I know youth is doing like a live stream of their service. We are not going to do that. There are several reasons, but primarily I just think it would be very difficult for families who are still social distancing at home. I think it would be really sad for the kids who are at home to see all their friends, because the majority of our kids are going to still be coming to church. And so I will not do a live stream, but I will post videos and songs for those kiddos. I probably will post the lesson about the swag bags. I'll probably film that tomorrow and post that for those kids, but I won't do that every week. I don't think so. If you have a kiddo in childcare, they can be dropped off as early as 6. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm forgetting. You let me know. If there's something I did not explain or I did not address, please let me know. I did post a separate elementary volunteer video. That was primarily for Sunday morning volunteers. Oh, I know another one. We're trying to keep kiddos out of the hallway. We have some life groups and Bible studies that are meeting at the same time on campus. There's one that's in the sanctuary or the worship center, but then there's one that's going to be in the life group room, which used to be the kindergarten room with all the couches and stuff, not the nook. And then there's also another life group or Bible study that's in the gathering hall. So there are other groups of adults who do not necessarily have background checks. And so if a kid is going to the bathroom or something like that, we want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on them, just so they don't wander into one of those life group rooms or whatever. We just want to be really careful about that, right? But yeah, if you guys have any other questions, or if I didn't address something, please let me know. And I really appreciate you guys. I really could not do my job without you guys. I appreciate your flexibility and your graciousness.